of Prime Minister Modi's historic second visit to Israel. And we have some very special guests joining us now to analyze what this visit means for the bilateral relationship for India and the future. We have Ambassador Manju Seth, we have Major General Rajan Kocher, we have Yanki Farber, senior journalist, the Orthodox Community of Israel, joining us live from Tel Aviv. Prime Minister Modi, bear in mind, has invited the Israeli Prime Minister to visit India and go beyond Delhi, and that people of India are excited for the visit of the Israeli Prime Minister. Bear in mind, Prime Minister Modi delivered a historic address at the Knesset, or the Israeli Parliament, just yesterday as part of his two-day trip to Israel, which continues today. Ambassador Manju Seth is with us. Ambassador Manju Seth, talk to us. 2017 was a landmark here. The first ever Prime Minister from India to visit Israel. And clearly a lot has changed since 2017, or things have improved in terms of the bilateral relationship between India and Israel, be it in terms of trade, security, defense, and even water management. So clearly, the areas where we can collaborate and co-create have only increased. I'm not even talking about things like startups and the kind of collaborations that are going on in that direction as well. But this, the fact that he went to the memorial in Yad Vashem, the biggest Holocaust memorial, is a strong message that the Prime Minister is sending out to the world, isn't it? It is not just about India and Israel aligning with each other. It's also about the message that this visit sends to the world.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right, and especially given the geopolitical flux which we are confronting, and in the Middle East, especially the threats to Iran by the US, and we don't know how that's going to pan out. And so I think the whole situation, or the whole geopolitical atmosphere right now is one of uncertainty. And I think in this atmosphere, Prime Minister's visit to Israel is, yes, it gives a message that yes, Israel and India are strong partners, and of course, we have a very good relationship for very many years now, and further we are going to increase that. And there was also talk of forming this hexagon of countries to further, strengthen not only the bilateral but a kind of multilateral, multipolar kind of organization to address common concerns. And terrorism, I think, was one core common issue that both leaders have addressed, the free trade agreement that is being discussed. A lot of innovation is, there are many strengths which we both share, with both countries share, but innovation and joint research in emerging technologies, including AI, of course, I think that is something which is going to be a game changer, because both countries have been collaborating, and I think they will continue to collaborate. And with this visit, not only defense, innovative areas of research and development, and trade, agriculture, already we have a very strong, robust relationship. And as you mentioned, water, irrigation, etc., has been a very important area of collaboration, where a large number of agricultural fields in India have been transformed by the various drip irrigation and other methodologies that have come in from Israel to India. And I feel that the fact that Israel has, Israel and India have a very special relationship, even when they were not very formal diplomatic ties were not there. Right since then, it's been a good relationship, and I think behind the scenes we have always been collaborating. And India has been, Israel has been helping India with arms and ammunition and in defense. And I think we need to understand that Israel's situation right now, yes, there's a war that is going on, which is not ending. But I think the situation is such that we have to recognize that there was a terrorist attack, so to speak, which was the trigger for this, ongoing war that started. And now, of course, India supports a two-nation resolution to this. But how? That is where the problem arises. And there's no agreement on that. And I think till that agreement is reached, not only between, the big powers, but also between Israel and the Palestinian people. So I think, or the leadership. That I think seems a little difficult at the moment, given the pulls and pressures and contradictory kind of messaging that is going on in the region. I think that's a little a long way off. But yes, India continues to support the two-nation theory, and I think in going forward, there might be resolution, but we have to wait and see.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see. Major Rajan Kochar, I'm just going to come to you, but before that, I want to take this to Yankee Farber. Yankee Farber, look at the messaging today from the Israeli President Isaac Herzog. Yesterday was all about the long hugs and the great camaraderie between Prime Minister Modi and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Yankee, I'm just going to come to you because we have some live visuals coming straight from Israel. Bilateral talks between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Prime Minister Modi accompanied by India's Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar as well. These are the latest visuals coming to you straight from Israel. This after India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with Israel's President Isaac Herzog and invited him to come to India. Yankee Farber, tell us, how are the people of Israel viewing these visuals, viewing these this second visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Israel, his visit to the biggest Holocaust Memorial? Some great messaging here, great messages to the people of Israel per se.
Yeah, hi. First of all, the people in Israel look at Prime Minister Modi and really admire him. First, because after 7th of October, he was like one of the first leaders in the world that actually stood aside of Israel and spoke against to Hamas and terrorists. Also, you can see right now live that so many people are sitting in the Israeli president's place. Listen, I've watched many prime ministers, presidents who come to visit Israel. I've never seen so many people in one long table at the Israeli president's house. Usually it's like, 5 people, 10 people, maybe a little bit more. Here you see dozens of people standing and sitting down, and taking part of the visit. It's really not usual that so many people join a meeting with a prime minister who comes to visit Israel. We had President Trump, okay, but he's big. But we had other presidents, other people. Not so many people have joined. We saw yesterday at the Israeli Knesset, at the Israeli parliament, so many Knesset members, going around Modi and doing selfie and shaking hands and speaking. And people are really excited to see him. Not because the political issue and not because of agreements that Israel is signing with India. It's just to see such a prime minister that is actually leading, 1.5 or 6, depends who you ask, billion people. It's really exciting. So, and also the visit today in Yad Vashem meant a lot for every Israeli and I watched on social media, every social media that respects itself posted the visit of Modi in Yad Vashem, and it means a lot. And one more thing very important, yesterday, as you know, the Israeli politicians are not very happy with each other, and yesterday we saw even there was conflict between the coalition and the opposition. When Prime Minister Modi spoke at the Knesset, everybody joined his speech, everybody welcomed him, and everybody respected him, and of course thanked him after his speech. So basically Modi has united Israel, let's say, for at least 2 days.
Yankee, the reason why I was asking you about this is because, there are bilateral visits. Israel has strong partnerships with so many countries. But clearly, the fact that India, in terms of what it has to offer Israel as a market, as a country, there's so much collaboration that can take place, that, is putting India at the forefront of the minds of every single Israeli today, isn't it? Because it's not just about strategic partnership, it's also about economic partnership going forward.
It's economic. Some of the agreements between Israel and India will probably never be published because it's like security, agreements about planes and bombs and who knows what. So, but yes, it's not just technological. It's not just. It's also, you have to remember that India is one of the countries that many Israelis visit. India is like one of the top priority of the young Israelis to visit whenever they have an opportunity to fly over Israel. And all the time we see the Indian people welcoming the Israelis very nicely in India, and it's really amazing to see. Yesterday, this morning, Prime Minister Modi was visiting places. Yesterday, he visited one of those places where Israel is developing many equipment, and he enjoyed it. And I don't know what agreements they're going to sign, but it will not just help Israel, it will help India, because when Israel is helping India, and India is helping back Israel, and the connection between those two states, even India is 1.5 billion and Israel is just about 10 million people, it's like a little village in India, still India is making a lot from Israel, and Israel is making a lot back from India. India is a massive country with so many opportunities for Israel, and it's going to be good agreements between both countries.
Okay, stay with us, Yankee. Let me take this back to Ambassador Manju Sheth. Ambassador Manju Sheth, those visuals on our screens clearly show the delegation, the high-powered delegation from India led by Prime Minister Modi. There is India's Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar. There is National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. There is Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. The fact that the presence of National Security Advisor Ajit Doval really tells you the foundation of this partnership between India and Israel, isn't it? It's all about security and defense to start with, and now it's evolving on to the next stage.
Absolutely. I think that the defense collaboration has been a very important element of the India-Israel partnership, and it continues to be so. And this visit again is indicative of continuing in that direction. And yes, as I mentioned earlier, new and emerging technologies, quantum computing, AI, and startups on both sides collaborating, everything is falling in place for both sides. And I think the fact that we have such a high-level delegation, and on the other side, as mentioned by Mr. Young, it's also a very high-level delegation on the Israeli side, is indicative of the importance of the relationship and the importance given by both sides to this relationship. And it is, and I believe that yes, trade is an important element, defense is an important element, but even manpower. A lot of manpower has moved from India to Israel in the recent past, and I think that is another. It's quite a large Indian origin by diaspora in Israel as well. So all these connectivities and connections are there, and going forward, I believe that yes, defense and security will continue to be very important elements of this relationship. But the fact that we are diversifying into new technologies and into, of course, agriculture and quantum computing and AI, the future which is here actually. I think the fact that we are continuing and strengthening collaboration in this, I think will be a win-win for both sides. So it will be a continuation, I believe, of the relationship.
Okay, a continuation of that strong security and defense relationship. Yankee Farber, a lot of questions being raised also on the fact that the timing of this visit, this is a very, very tumultuous time for West Asia as a whole. There's disruption all over, and smack in the middle of it comes the Prime Minister of India's visit to Israel.
Yes, people in Israel say now that Israel is not attacking Iran because Prime Minister Modi is here. And Israel is basically waiting that Prime Minister Modi, his visit should finish, and then Israel will attack. I don't know if it's true, but this is what people say, because Israel is not going to do anything while Prime Minister Modi is here. And yes, it's a big say to the world. When Israel is in such a conflict, being attacked from all over, and Prime Minister Modi is coming, it's not just a visit for business. It's a visit to say to the world that India is standing alongside with Israel, and it's a very, very important say. Maybe the meeting was, the visit was planned, let's say, a few weeks ago or maybe 2 months ago, but still, it was planned while Israel is threatening to attack Iran. It was planned while Israel is battling with so many terrorist organizations around Israel, and Prime Minister Modi comes up and said, I'm coming to Israel. It's a big say, and people really appreciate it. People in Israel really appreciate it, because it's so easy now, to say, yeah, I'm not going to come to Israel because Israel is in a war and this and that. To see Prime Minister Modi stepping into Israel while Israel is surrounded by so many enemies, this is a very, very big say, and people watch it. And it's not just the people; the world is watching it, and people understand which side India is taking. And I can tell you that Israel helped India in the last battle with Pakistan. Obviously, it was not published on the news, and Israel is helping India in quite a few things that has to do with security. Maybe one day it will be published, but not at the moment. Yes, it's a big say that he came right now in the middle of people are waiting that the war with Iran will start.
Okay. There is that to deal with. Ambassador Manju Sheth, I want to bring the same question to you as well. Talk to us in terms of the geopolitical context, in which this Prime Minister Modi's visit is taking place. One is to continue and that relationship with Israel and make it stronger and make it evolve and get more into that relationship rather than just cybersecurity and defense, and national security. And the other is to be able to be a player in West Asia as a whole.
Also an important element, because definitely we have a lot of strategic interests in the entire Middle East region and the entire West Asia region. And so I think we want to be, because, India is recognized as an important player today. And I think the fact that the visit is taking place at this time, and very rightly, as mentioned by Mr. Yankee, this is a message that India and Israel, or India stands with Israel at this difficult time. Yes, the Palestinian issue will continue to be to be discussed or be a part of the conversation, I'm sure. But yes, how India, that will be a separate, I think we put it on a separate track. What we will look at doing is to increase our relationship with Israel for many reasons. As mentioned by you earlier and by me earlier, was that the defense, strategic and security ties are very important. And both sides are working together to counter terrorism in every which way. And both countries have been affected. And the response has been, India had a certain response, and Israel was supportive of that response. Similarly, when the terrorist attack took place in Israel and by the Hamas, I think India stood by Israel. So going forward, the two countries have to, a little balancing is required at this point of time, given the pulls and pressures, and of course we are part of the I2U2 and IMEC also. We are looking at operationalizing that soon. But the fact remains that other countries, I mean, there is a lot of criticism of this visit, but I believe that this timing, the timing that has been, the time at which the Prime Minister is visiting Israel is clearly, I think, the right time. Because India has good relations, fairly good relations with Iran, as well as with Israel and other countries in the Middle East. And we would like to continue to maintain good relations while, there was, we will point out if we don't agree with something. Like we did say that Israel should, when we supported the UN resolution to say that Israel should not advance and, occupy more territory in Gaza. But having said that, I think we have to do a little balancing, and I think Israel also would need to tweak its policies a bit. But because when the negotiations take place for getting peace, I think, because as we have been saying, talks are the only way to find a solution to this, and a mutually agreeable to reach a mutually agreeable agreement and decision on finding peace, because that is the only option, and it will be good for both countries and for the Middle East if peace comes the soonest possible.
Yankee, I'm curious to know if you can tell us, what, as a senior journalist from the Orthodox community of Israel, tell us what are the newspapers in Israel and the media in Israel, what have been the catchphrases that they've used for Prime Minister Modi's visit? Because, we heard chants of Modi, Modi inside the Knesset, the Israeli parliament yesterday, and the long hugs between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. There's also talk of that how Benjamin Netanyahu's wife wore a saffron-colored outfit to sort of be in sync with PM Modi's visit. So tell us, what have been the big headlines as far as Israel is concerned, Israeli media is concerned?
Yeah, well, the Israeli media was definitely pointing out that Prime Minister's wife, Sarah Netanyahu, was wearing orange clothes. It was really, It was very pointed out because, it was really being seen. It's like a color that everybody sees. And obviously, the Israeli media was talking about that Prime Minister Netanyahu was wearing a traditional Indian clothes yesterday when he met Prime Minister Modi for dinner. And Netanyahu was posting it on social media. And yes, people spoke about it and said very nice comments. And people are happy to see that Netanyahu and Sarah Netanyahu was thinking about how to show the friendship right in public, not just inside the parliament, also outside, and people spoke about it. People were chanting Modi, 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 and we saw yesterday many children who came to welcome them in the Knesset. Everybody was doing selfie with them. Israel doesn't have many friends, but the few friends that Israel has, they are being pointed out so clearly and so loudly, and every newspaper in Israel, Orthodox, secular, everyone was really making big headlines about the visit, and people are going to be very upset when he goes back to India. And some of them said that because he managed to unite Israel for at least 2 days, maybe it's good if Modi stays with us a little bit longer, because the friendship will stay for another few days.
Well, that's very interesting to know. The Prime Minister Modi's visit really uniting people in Israel. Yankee, as we speak, the bilateral talks are underway. Those are the visuals on our screens. Those talks are underway. After which, Prime Minister Modi will be addressing the media along with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Then we'll get to know what the MOUs that they have signed. And at this stage, I want to ask you, Yankee, in the history of India-Israel relations, the ties did normalize between India and Israel back in the 1990s. But since then, this has to be sort of like the golden age as far as the India-Israeli relationship is concerned, isn't it? Last 5 to 7 years.
Yes, it's really fascinating, and we really hope it's going to continue. Even after time of Modi have built the connection between Israel and India so strongly that it looks like that even after Modi will finish his term, whenever, Israel will still stay friendly with India, because many people make an agreement with Israel. It doesn't matter who is the prime minister, but it's not very easy to make new friends, especially in the Middle East. And Israel managed to make friend with Modi, and as I said, it will definitely stay even after the time of Modi, because the connection that Modi have built in the last 10 years with Israel.
Yeah, very important point, isn't it, Ambassador Manjul Sheikh? Because what has happened since 2017 to now is something that is, that is really put the really foundation blocks for the India-Israel relationship for the future. A lot cannot change irrespective of whatever leadership change happens in either of the countries.
Yes, I agree fully with that. The relationship is very strong and not only dependent on the leadership, on the current leadership or future leadership. I think this is a relationship which will endure. And it will endure because it is something that has been built on strong elements and on strong trust. I think there's an element of trust in the relationship. And I believe that this will continue to shape the relationship and the partnership in the future. And as I said, innovation and technology and are key elements of future collaboration. And Israel has been very, very positive and open about sharing technology with India. And I think that is also a plus point. When there is co-development and there is co-innovation and research and development, it again adds a certain heft to the relationship, where you are co-manufacturing, co-innovating, and not only for each other, but for the world. I think that is something which is an important element. And Israel has been has had a checkered history, as everybody knows, and its journey from there to now, where it has become one of the leading innovators and defense manufacturers in the world, and even other technology, agricultural technology, and many other areas where it has, and nuclear also, though it doesn't declare its nuclear, it's not an open plan, but it has a lot of strengths, it has a lot of innovation and research, and it's one of the top tech innovative countries in the world. And I think that is something which will also continue to shape the relationship. And India is also advancing very rapidly. And as we saw at the recent summit, AI summit in India, we saw that there's been a lot of progress and a lot of innovation happening in India also. And startups in India are doing a very high-tech, innovative work, and that is already happening, has already happened even in Israel. So the fact that these startups will also be partnering with each other and continue to innovate, this is going to be a win-win situation for both countries, and I think for the rest of the world as well.